Tonight on NewsWatch Ole Miss, it is a big day here on campus. Donations are being made for growth university-wide. Find out how you can donate coming up.
Plus, a plane crashed into the water during a boat's crew fishing trip in Gulfport. We'll tell you how they survived coming up. News starts now. Welcome back to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Sky Sanders.
And I'm Logan Green.
To start off the show, let's have our first look at weather with our Storm Watch's Celeste Slay.
Thanks, Sky. Looking at our current temperatures here in Oxford, Mississippi, we are under a flood watch until Thursday morning at 7 a.m. It is currently 63 degrees, and with that cool breeze coming from a cold front at northeast, it feels like 66 degrees. Winds are heading at 13 miles per hour again in that northeast direction. I'll have more about these storms coming up. Back to you at the desk.
A welfare concern has been issued for 16-year-old Oriana Buck. The Lafayette County Sheriff's Office is asking for any help from the community that they can get. She was last seen wearing black sweatpants with a multicolored jacket getting into a white vehicle. The spotting was in the County Road 395 area off of Highway 315. Matthew Brown, 23-year-old Como resident, was denied bail after being arrested last week for capital murder charges. The Lafayette County Sheriff's Office responded to an alert regarding an unresponsive child on County Road 520. The child was taken to LeBarner Children's Hospital in Memphis, where he later died. Brown was not the father of the child. However, the child was in his care at the time. A probable cause hearing will be held on April 15th.
And in lighter news, Ole Miss will host its third annual Mississippi Day on Saturday, April 13th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Each academic department will have its own tent and will showcase the best of their achievements and programs on campus. It is open to the public to be a day full of entertainment and activities that will inform the community about what's happening at the university. Students wishing to attend don't have to RSVP, and the event will take place in the Circle, Union, and Galtney Lot Plaza. And it's Giving Day here on campus. The entire Ole Miss family joins together on this day to support the people, places, and programs of the university. Today helps fund scholarships, support faculty, classroom renovations, student wellness, and more. Graduating seniors can even receive a graduation cord if they donate $24 for the year 2024. You can go to givingday.olemiss.edu to donate for more information. And the William McGee Center is inviting all students to attend the Student Wellness Fair tomorrow, April 10th. The event will offer free health screenings, healthy food samples, giveaways, and mental health support. This is the first wellness fair planned by the McGee Center's current staff, but they plan to make the event an annual occurrence. The staff hopes to encourage students to take their health seriously during their time in college. The fair will be held at the South Campus Recreation Center from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
What started as a normal fishing trip for a boat captain and his crew quickly turned into a rescue mission. They were recently sailing off the coast of Gulfport, Mississippi, when a plane crashed into the water and began to sink. That's when they jumped into action to rescue the passengers. Jacoby Rivers talked to the captain, who said he's just thankful they were in the right place at the right time.
Really know what you're going to run into at the Chandler Islands. It's a really cool place, really magical place. You never really know what's going to happen.
Kyle Johnson never expected those words to become a reality until a recent fishing trip changed everything. Johnson and his crew were on their way to the Chandler Islands when they noticed a plane experiencing a bad landing in the Mississippi Sound.
And me and my clients thought, man, I hope that plane doesn't crash. And then unfortunately it did. But it wasn't a severe crash, but you never know what you're walking into.
Seeing how the passengers needed help getting off the sinking plane, Johnson's military expertise came into play.
I told my clients, hey, look, guys, I need y'all to just do what I say. I'm in charge. I kept calm the whole time, and I had a plan the entire time. It was rough seas, so the boat was rocking very bad, and so was the plane, and we just kind of got as close as we could, and would get one or two passengers at a time and pull them in the boat, get them in there. And then once we got them on the boat, we assured them that they were safe, everything was fine, we were going to get them somewhere safe, and it was a sigh of relief with them because the Chandler Islands is very remote, 25 miles offshore. There's no cell phone service. It'd take at least an hour for the Coast Guard to get there.
Johnson says he will start packing more safety supplies like a life jacket and urges others to do the same.
If something would have happened to them and us, I only would have had enough life jackets on my boat for just me and my people. So bring more emergency equipment than you need. Always have a plan just in case something goes wrong, because you never know if that's going to happen out there.
Well, coming from someone from Gulfport, I was pretty scared to hear that. I'm glad they got it under control.
Yeah, I'm so happy they're okay. I know how dangerous big bodies of water like that can be.
Well, coming up, we'll have an update for you on President Biden's plans for student loans.
Plus, can TikTok help with your taxes? We'll tell you the answer to that right after the break. NewsWatch Ole Miss will be right back.
Mississippi.
Hey, Mississippi.
Don't trash Mississippi.
Because picking up litter costs us time
and money.
MDOT spends $3.2 million a year picking up litter.
That's money that could be used to maintain roads and bridges,
Patch potholes,
and focus on improving Mississippi's infrastructure.
Please help us help you.
We can't do it without you.
Don't trash Mississippi.
Don't trash Mississippi.
I'm here at the scene of tomorrow's shooting, where a 15-year-old will kill 4 children, 2 adults, and then turn the gun on himself.
When the shooting starts happening tomorrow, first I'll probably just think it's firecrackers or a car backfiring or something.
He told some of us that his dad kept the gun in his closet, and he always talked about using it on, the people that bullied him. Tomorrow I'll probably say that I wish I told someone.
After the shooting, we're gonna feel pretty bad about picking on him, but until then, we'll probably just keep doing it because he's pretty weird.
Tomorrow I'll probably point out that something has seemed off with him since the beginning of the school year.
And I'm now joined by the officers who will be the first responders tomorrow. What additional details can you share with us?
Well, someone is expected to tell us after the shooting that the shooter has been posting on social media about doing this for weeks.
So how will you explain the shooting to your daughter?
Actually, I won't get to explain it to her because she won't make it.
This is Christine Lynn, reporting from the scene of another shooting we'll say we never saw coming.
Today, too many Americans, especially young people, are saddled with unsustainable debts in exchange for a college degree.
President Joe Biden has a new strategy to forgive some student loan debt. The White House says it would help more than 30 million borrowers if implemented and combined with plans the administration has enacted already.
Even if they get by, they still have this crushing debt.
The initiative targets federal borrowers who have unpaid interest beyond a certain threshold, 20 or more years in repayment, eligibility for loan programs in which they're not enrolled, education from a so-called low financial value program, and certain hardships like medical debt.
Most people should not have to carry this kind of worry.
The new plans are more selective than Biden's previous initiative, which was for most middle and low-income federal borrowers. The Supreme Court says action that broad needs to involve Congress, and many Republicans say taxpayers who didn't go to college shouldn't fund degrees for those who did.
Across the board, student loan forgiveness is regressive.
The new plans aren't ready for sign-ups yet. It could take months to finalize them, and they'll likely face legal challenges.
Democrats will continue exploring every option under the sun to lower costs and make college more affordable.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Federal authorities are making major progress in arresting and prosecuting those who stole COVID-19 pandemic relief funds. The U.S. Justice Department said its COVID-19 Fraud Enforcement Task Force has seized nearly $1.5 billion in stolen funds. More than 3,500 people have reportedly been charged with federal crimes related to the relief fraud. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland issued a statement saying the work is not over and they will continue to investigate and prosecute these crimes.
And the House of Representatives is set to vote next week on a resolution that would support Israel's right to self-defense and would go against a ceasefire in Israel's war against Hamas in Gaza. Republican members have criticized President Biden because he's been critical of Israel's military strategy. The resolution is simply symbolic and it would not change any current policy. However, it could put some Democrats in an awkward position, specifically those critical of Israel's war that has killed more than 30,000 Palestinians.
The FBI has arrested a man for allegedly making plans to attack churches in Idaho and pledging his allegiance to ISIS. The Justice Department says the 18-year-old was planning to use knives, guns, and fire on several churches on Sunday. Andrew Zogdro has the details.
According to court documents from the FBI, Alexander Mercurio admitted to first finding ISIS ideology while schools were canceled during the pandemic. And just to put that in context, Mercurio is 18 as of right now, so he was a young teen then. Those same documents tell a scary tale of a Coeur d'Alene teen who says he once grew up following white supremacy ideology, but converted to Islam, conflicting with his religious Christian parents. In private messages to a man he thought was another terrorist sympathizer, but was actually a federal agent, Mercurio feared he wasn't doing enough for the Islamic cause, saying, quote, "I don't have the desire to do anything except jihad, a craving for mayhem and terror," as recently as 3 weeks ago. Lamenting that he was going to go through all of Ramadan without committing an act of violence, Mercurio allegedly devised a plan where he would walk to the nearest church, attack churchgoers with baton, use a knife to kill them, burn the church to the ground, and do the same until no churches were left in Coeur d'Alene. He also had plans to either kill or kidnap his father before the attack, primarily to obtain access to his weapons. At around 12:45 on Saturday, the FBI raided Mercurio's home, finding a metal pipe, an ISIS flag, handcuffs, a folding saw, 2 canisters of butane fuel, a machete, and more, all in his bedroom.
58-year-old Matthew Cairns has pleaded guilty to stealing the identity of William D. Woods in every aspect of his life. When Woods initially reported the fraud, investigators believed he was actually the identity theft and put him in bail for 28 days. Woods was forced to plead no contest in exchange for time served to get out of jail. Woods then reported the fraud to the University of Iowa, where Cairns worked for over a decade. He was fired for misconduct after the university used DNA testing to prove his identity. Cairns admitted to using Woods' identity for 3 decades and collecting $140,000 in debt under his false name. Cairns faces a maximum of 32 years in prison.
The April 15th federal tax filing deadline is less than 1 week away. Some people are turning to social media for last-minute tax tips, but that might not be the best idea. Reporter Karen Kafa is in Washington with the latest.
From budgeting to student loan payments, the hashtag FinTalk has exploded on TikTok.
It really just shows how many people are looking for that personal finance advice, how to save their paycheck, how to spend their paycheck, and especially during this time of year, how to file taxes.
Brad Messner of the National Association of Tax Professionals and a professor at the University of Pittsburgh says social media can give voice to some helpful sources for tax topics, but not all have the same credibility and expertise.
In a lot of cases, there's a lot of intricacies and nuances. So there is no way in a 15-second, or even in some cases a 30-second or 3-minute clip, to explain all of the details around the topic.
The IRS said this week bad information on social media, including schemes like misusing W-2 forms to scam a bigger refund, can lead a taxpayer to big trouble. Nick Wolney, managing editor at CNET, says users should always do their own research.
The fact check that you always want to put into place, make sure that you know the basics and that you're not just following someone's potential get-rich-quick messaging that may or may not even be true.
After all, Messner says it's the individual filer who's held accountable for that tax return.
When you submit that return or when you sign that return, you are ultimately responsible for it. And if anything comes into question, just the response of, oh, well, I saw that on TikTok is not really a valid response in the terms of an audit.
Delta Airline is returning to numbered zones for boarding. Delta abandoned the idea of zones in 2019 and started calling passengers by category names. Those categories aren't changing, but they'll be assigned zones. So starting next month, passengers will be in zones 1 through 8, which will be printed on boarding passes. It's about time for people to start booking those summer flights, but we're still in the heart of spring. Let's check back in with weather anchor Celeste Lay for another update on this rainy day.
Hey everyone, we are taking a look right now at our MDOT traffic cam just outside Fraternity Row on Jackson. As you can see, it is still a pretty rainy day and we have more rain headed our way. I'll have more on weather after the break.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Is my light bright enough? You're such a glow-off. Well, you know. And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. The trees stand tall. Mother, mother, you tell me to stay rooted. The trees' roots go deep. You tell me to focus on my breath, and the trees breathe for the earth. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? Will you be the kind that makes shade, or the kind that shows a new way? Might you be the kind to hug, or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind. The child had a few more questions after that, and the forest had plenty of answers.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Each year, hurricanes and major flooding threaten cities, towns, and rural homes across the Gulf states. So chances are there will be more storms and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Welcome back to Storm Watch. Let's take a look at those current temperatures again. Currently in Oxford, it is raining and it's 63 degrees. That wind is heading in the northeast direction at 13 miles per hour. The wind gusts are at 20 miles per hour, so it is a little bit breezy today. Looking across North Mississippi, everywhere across North Mississippi and up by Memphis, they are under a flood watch until Thursday morning at 7 a.m. So be on the lookout for that. As you can see, we're all in the lower 60s, and over in Tupelo, we're up in 72 degrees. Now tonight's forecast, it is going to drop down to 61 degrees. We are expecting showers and thunderstorms to intensify as we head into the night. Again, that wind is heading in the southeast direction at 10 miles per hour with gusts at 23 miles per hour. Tomorrow, we are expecting more severe thunderstorms than today. We have a high of 68 degrees and possibly strong winds and a few tornadoes. And looking at our radar right now, this is what we are experiencing today. As you can see, there's a storm cell over here that is moving up into the northeast direction. Some wind is heading southeast as well. And over here we can see that this is what our maps kind of look like today. All this green area right here is rain and thunderstorms, and the yellow and red is more severe. So as you can see, as we look into tomorrow, that it's going to be more around us tomorrow. So we are expecting some severe weather. So if you have class tomorrow or traveling down to Vicksburg and Jackson, be on the lookout because that is where the most severe weather will occur tomorrow. And looking at tomorrow's temperatures across North Mississippi, we can see that we're back up at 68 degrees. It will get cooler as we head into the week with a cold front coming with those thunderstorms. And looking at our 5-day forecast, we can see that it is going to be rainy up until Thursday night. And we're going to have a little bit of sunshine this weekend, but Monday we have a 20% chance of rain.
Well, I'm going to need this rain to slow down because it was pouring so hard today that the rain seeped through my rain jacket.
Yes, it's a lot of rain this week. And speaking of rain, are there any delays with any of the sports happening this week?
There sadly will be, so we're going to have to figure it out once it gets dry. But speaking of that, Celeste, coming up, like we just talked about, rain is going to cause some delays, including a Rebel baseball midweek matchup, and March Madness has ended. Check back in after the break for a recap of last night's game.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Do you love sports? Then you should know about STEM. Because maximizing nutrition, analyzing peak muscle performance, calculating the perfect shot, and more are all made possible by science, technology, engineering, and math. In fact, there are more careers than ever in sports science. So if you have a passion for sports, then think about getting involved in STEM and improve everyone's game on and off the field. Get inspired at SheCanSTEM.com.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Welcome back. I'm Campbell Holmes with Sports Watch. Well, like Celeste just talked about, rain will be in Oxford for a majority of the week, making Ole Miss baseball's midweek matchup against Murray State become postponed. A new date for this game will be announced at a later date, and all tickets bought for the game will be able to be used when it gets rescheduled. Ole Miss announced that the Rebs will be turning their attention now to the weekend's huge series against rival Mississippi State. And students, be sure to get to the right field early all weekend because the games will be sold out. And the Ole Miss athletics team teamed up with ESPNW on Monday, hosting a campus conversations event as a part of the department's commitment to prepare its student athletes for life after college. This event is hosted around many college campuses with ESPN talent to host panel discussions and Q&A breakout sessions. All student athletes after the event said that they truly felt the impact from the speakers and really took all the words from the speakers to heart. And taking things to the court, a basketball beatdown happened last night. March Madness finally came to a close, and the UConn Huskies sealed the deal, getting their back-to-back NCAA championship title. These Huskies are only the sixth team to win all tournament games by double digits, with the help of powerful offense by players like guard Tristan Newton, who scored 20 for UConn. And despite Purdue's star Zach Edey, who totaled up 37 points for the Boilermakers, it was really no surprise that the Huskies were going to take the trophy in the second half. UConn is ending their season with an overall record of 37-3 and the big title. And if you're sad about the ending of March Madness and are stuck inside because of the rain, not really knowing what to watch tonight, the Memphis Grizzlies will be hosting Wimbiana and the San Antonio Spurs tonight. The Spurs and Grizz are beginning the last week of play as both teams are eliminated from the playoffs. But if the Spurs do take the win, this will be the first victory for the Spurs against Memphis since 2020. And if you do watch, you'll be seeing some young and new faces on the court as starting players for the Grizz, Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bain, and Santi Aldama are all out with injuries. Tip-off is at 7 at the FedEx Forum, and you can watch on Bally Sports with Pete Pranica, Brevin Knight, and Rob Fisher. And that's all I've got for sports, so be sure to follow us on X at rebel_watch for the latest sports updates. But don't go anywhere, because after the break, NewsWatch will tell you why the eclipse yesterday was an extra special day for a group of people in Arkansas. NewsWatch Ole Miss will be right back.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world? You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Welcome back to NewsWatch Ole Miss. Hundreds of people took advantage of the solar eclipse to tie the knot with their partners. 358 couples attended a mass wedding in Russellville, Arkansas.
The event was called Elope at the Eclipse, and many of the people there said it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
The area was in the path of totality, making it a true total eclipse of the heart.
The wedding ended just as the sky turned black.
That's something special for sure.
Yeah,
very special indeed.
I don't know if I would do that if I were
No.
to each their own.
Nope. Well, tomorrow is National Hug Your Dog Day. Be sure to give your dog extra love because science says it's beneficial for the both of you.
That's right. Hugging your dog releases oxytocin, a hormone known to make people feel better.
Plus, it's also a great exercise opportunity. You can take your dog to the dog park or on an extra long walk.
Or maybe even get a coffee and a little pup cup.
Oh, I wish I had my dogs here. Shout out Mabel and Margaret. I love you guys.
Shout out Blue and Snow. Love you.
Shout out Lexi.
Shout out Goose.
Well, that's all we have tonight. Tune in tomorrow. I'm Logan Green.
And I'm Sky Sanders with your latest news.
I'm Campbell Holmes with Sports Watch.
And with Storm Watch, I'm Celeste Lay.
Be sure to keep up with us on our socials and tune in tomorrow at 5. NewsWatch Ole Miss, where we keep it live and keep it local.
Thank you.